Hi, another film I watched last weekend was Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, the 2016 film from Tim Burton. It feels like an interesting change of pace for Burton because although it has the gothic fantasy elements of a lot of his previous work, it feels quite different in tone and style. It feels quite a lot darker and more adult, and certainly doesn't have the humour that his previous films did. This is quite a serious film. It's the story of a young boy who has a close relationship with his grandfather, a Polish emigre who now lives in Florida, and who claims that he's fought monsters all his life. When he is killed in strange circumstances, our young main character Jack investigates. Jake, Jack, I can't really remember, um, and traces back a thread to the children's home where he grew up, in an island off the coast of Wales. He persuades his father to go on a holiday there with him, and he discovers that the house has been abandoned for many, many years, but then is contacted by the people who actually live there. It turns out that they're stuck in a time loop, deliberately engineered to give them safety from the outside world because they are peculiar. They each have strange, bizarre powers. Rolling back time, being invisible, making things grow very quickly, even floating light in the air. They are effectively all nascent superpowers, but treated in this gothic fantasy mode. And the headmistress of the house, Miss Peregrine, played by Eva Green, is effectively the Professor Xavier. It's almost like a storybook Victorian version of the X-Men. And so Jake gets involved with these various peculiar young people and helps protect them from those who are trying to absorb them, to take their power and restructure themselves into other creatures. It all gets a bit involved. Um, be, a, be a bit dismissive. Um, it's very well directed, and it's nice to see Burton trying something different and something that feels like a lot of it's been shot on location and a lot of it's been set on location. There's a climax of the movie which is set in Blackpool, which is largely in the present day and appears to have been filmed mostly there on location with the modern trams going by and things like that, although there's some license taken in terms of the actual geography. But it feels quite different, and it feels like Burton is trying to stretch himself within the genre that he's familiar with because it has that more serious, more adult tone. It doesn't have the humor. It doesn't have the Beetlejuice style goofiness or even the mordant wit of his two Batman films. This feels quite darker and sadder and more melancholy. The problem, however, is that the script is almost impossible to follow because the ideas about time loops and time travel and what the villains are and the threat that they pose and why are skated over very, very quickly. And it's quite hard to follow what's going on from one scene to the next. There's a lot of attention paid to the characters, to the various children there and their different personalities and the various relationships they have. That's the stuff that works. That's the stuff where Burton really gets invested because he's always loved outsiders like that. He's always really engaged with them and he's always been totally happy to give them time and to showcase their personalities and how wonderful these people are. And that's the part that works. It's the actual storytelling. It's actually fitting one scene next to each other where it really goes wrong. There's some odd casting as well, in that Chris O'Dowd plays the main character's father and really struggles with an American accent. Eva Green is very good. It's interesting to see her in a more benign character, a sort of very stern and serious but protective character, which is a bit of a change for her. There's little more than a cameo from Judi Dench as a colleague of hers. The villain is Samuel L. Jackson, who feels like he's cast against type because he's playing it very much bigger and broader than you would expect. But he works quite well as a villain, particularly helped by the pure white contact lenses that he and his various cohorts wear. Um, so it has its good qualities. It feels like Burton is really trying to do something different and trying to go in another direction, which is always laudable. And the direction is strong. The character work is strong. It looks very good. It's just that the script by Jane Goldman really doesn't work. And there's very little attempt at fitting the whole thing together into a coherent story. And the result is not Burton's worst film by any means, but certainly a long way from his top tier.